News Radio 1000 KTOK, 624, 64 degrees. Lee Matthews in the morning. And I apologize to Senator James Lankford, who joins us now. I made it sound like you are the only one introducing the Energy Supply and Distribution Act of 2015, but you've got some company, don't you?
I do have some company, including Jim Inhofe. But yeah, there's a group of us that have worked pretty hard to try to focus on how do we get to the point that we treat oil like we treat gasoline, like we treat natural gas, like we treat coal. Coal, natural gas, and gasoline all can be exported. They are a commodity. When we have too much of one certain type of product, we can sell it internationally if we choose to. Oil is the only commodity that's like that we cannot. Literally, we can sell gasoline, but we can't sell oil. That would be like saying we can sell flour, but you can't sell wheat. So this is something we're trying to resolve. At times we run into high supply. Like right now, Cushing is completely full in Cushing, and it's of a lot of light, sweet crude oil that our refineries are not set up to handle, but refineries in Mexico and Europe and lots of other places are. So we store it in Cushing, waiting to find a place to put it when there are many places around the world that would love to use it. So it's pretty basic economics and free trade, but as well as pretty smart economics as well. We have 100,000 people that have lost their jobs in the energy sector in just the last 7 or 8 months.
Senator James Lankford on News Radio 1000 KTOK. Why can't we do this? Is this when did we, at what point did we in American history say, oh, oil, we can't do that. We can't export oil?
Well, about 40 years ago, when most of America was sitting around their TVs on Friday nights watching Dallas, and we all believed at the time we were running out of oil, there was a law passed that prevented us from selling crude oil anywhere outside the United States, except from Alaska, ironically enough. So that law needs to be replaced. Now, there are some waivers, and there are ways that the president could engage in it right now that he's choosing not to, just based on where we are in supply. But it's something that has to be fixed, and we're working to build a bipartisan coalition to get it done. Now, it could pass the House. I don't think it'd be any problem. But the issue is building enough votes in the Senate. And for individuals to be able to see that this is strange, that the America cannot sell their own oil. It's really odd to me right now the president's negotiating with Iran to be able to allow Iran to be able to sell their oil on the world market, but we can't sell our oil on the world market yet. So let's fix first things first. And
was it you or Congressman Steve Russell that was telling me that there is a potential market for natural gas in Japan because they are scared to death of their own nuclear energy, and we can export natural gas? Compressed natural gas has got to be one of the safest fuels to export because it's under pressure. If there's an accident with the rig that's carrying it, it just evaporates.
Right. Well, it's actually liquefied natural gas. It's LNG when we actually export it worldwide. Okay. And you take it and you have to basically drop the temperature down significantly and then put it in this very cold form, then transport it on a ship, and then it has to be re-gasified on the other side and put into the system. But yes, Japan reached out to the United States several years ago, right after the Fukushima disaster, and wanted to immediately start buying our natural gas. I've worked on the export of natural gas for about 3 years now. And one of the main issues that I faced when I first started talking about it and first started working on it were individuals from Japan wanting to talk to me about it, and actually members of the parliament from Ukraine that immediately showed up in my office and said, how quickly could we buy your natural gas? We are very exposed to Russia. We want to be able to buy your natural gas. And at the time, I had to be able to tell them, I'm working on it. I'm pushing the administration. Here's what the process is. Here's where I'm walking through. And they said, we need your gas now. And now we all see exactly why that is so from the Ukraine to Russia. But, yeah, it's a geopolitical power for us. It's an economic benefit for us as a nation. We continue to find more and more of that supply here in the United States. So we should be able to sell that like a commodity.
An Energy Supply and Distribution Act of 2015, sponsored by not only Jim Inhofe, but Senator Lankford, who's with us on News Radio 1000 KTOK. Best case scenario, it flies through Senate, flies through the House. Any chance the president would use this as leverage, or would we have to cut a deal with him on some other bill to get him to sign it?
Well, that's yet to be seen. We've talked with the White House on it. They have actually not threatened to veto on it initially, which is as odd as that sounds. When the president doesn't threaten to veto, that often means he's just going to turn his head and let it go by, though he may or may not like it. I think internally, for the folks at the Department of Energy and the State Department and Department of Defense and other folks that are around him in the advising team, as we talk to all those individuals, they like it because the Department of Defense knows when we're exporting energy, we're actually forming peaceful relationships around the world in good, strong alliances appliances. State Department believes the same thing. Department of Energy sees the supply. They have the same thing. So quietly, I think in the background, they're pushing the administration to say, let this one go. I know you don't like any fossil fuels anywhere, but this is very significant to us as a nation.
And it seems to me it would also almost demand finishing the Keystone Pipeline.
You know, it wouldn't demand it, but I can tell you Keystone Pipeline is going to push the issue even more. The White House literally has nothing left to look at. They've asked for all kinds of reports. All of the reports they've asked for, all of the studies they've asked for are all in. Everything's pointing towards we should allow the Keystone Pipeline. But what's interesting is the Keystone is bringing in this heavier weight of crude from Canada that they use into our Gulf refineries that are set up for that heavy crude. We're continuing to produce in America light sweet crude is what we continue to find. And so even if we were to not have the Keystone come through and deliver that heavy crude, we still would have to find a market for our light sweet. Or they're going to have to redo all the refineries, which the refineries are unwilling to do because they've spent billions of dollars resetting them.
Instead of redistributing wealth, we need to redistribute our energy supply. And James Lankford, Senator, I hope you will keep us up to date on the progress of this bill.
Glad to do that. So we'll keep working on jobs in America. This is private jobs that can be made just based on us getting out of the way.
6:30 at News Radio 1000 KTOK.